Hello lovelies, in this video I'm going to be doing some prep work for gel nails. So first we want to make sure everything's sanitized, your hands and the client's hands. And then obviously we have to push back the cuticles. And it's very important there is no cuticle left on the nail plate. So I'm just pushing it back and then I'm going in with my other tool to kind of pull it away from the nail plate gently but thoroughly. And I just continue doing that on both nails, pulling the sides of the finger away from the nail plate so you can get into the cuticles a lot easier. And so what you want to do is you want to push the cuticle or the skin, the dead skin, back, and then with even the same end or the other end, then you want to drag it off the nail bed gently. And like I said before, it's important to make sure that you really have all of the dead skin, because especially that I'm going to be doing gel. I decided to put this video into two parts, so this is just the prep work and then I will upload what I actually done on this client. And just making sure you do that on all 10 nails. Really removing every single bit of skin, because gel does not like anything at all. Sometimes with acrylic you can get away with accidentally missing a bit of cuticle. You absolutely cannot do that with gel. So after that we're going with the block buffer, because you need to make all of the nails matte. Take the shine off. And it also helps get the remaining bit of cuticle off. And you got to make sure that you really get into the side bits, because it can be easy to miss with a block buffer. And that's why I go in with a different one as well. Because you can never be too sure. And sorry that some of the angles are not the greatest. I don't have an amazing setup, and I didn't really realize when I was out of frame because I couldn't see. So now I'm going over with a 180 grit, but it is a little used, so it's more like a 200 grit. Just making sure I get right around the cuticle area most of all, because it's a little bit easier to do that with this one. Then we're all done, and we're going to spray the hands again with alcohol, 96% alcohol. And then I'm just going to tidy up her nail shape, just so that the tips fit a lot better. Because I definitely had to go in again with the file to fix up her thumbs, so I just had to make sure that I had them all done. Not worrying too much but just kind of neatening it up a little bit. And this is with a diamond nail file. And so now we are going to size the tips with the nails, and I always am looking at both sides to see how it fits. Even when I think I've got the right size, which I actually think it was the first ones I grabbed, I still went back to do like a higher one up just to make sure. But I was pretty right with a lot of my first guesses. And generally 2 nails will be the same, which is kind of crazy because they look quite different. It's not always the case. It's usually the ring finger and the pointer finger. They're usually the same size tip on most people. And you really want to make sure that you get the right tip size. I think it's better to have too big than too little, because at least you can file the sides. And you got to make sure that you check both thumbs, because there might be an incident where they don't fit both of the thumbs, especially where I had to cut this nail because it was hard to see, but it was actually a bit wonky. And some people don't like using nail clippers, but I keep mine really sharp and I don't pull back before it's like cut off, so it cuts off nice and cleanly and I never have trouble with that. So I'm just making the nail a lot smoother fitting for the nail tip, and we're just going to spray again because it's best to make sure you have all of the dust out of the way. And then I just drag the tip on the nail, drag it down and stick it and hold it. Also I'll apply the glue to the tip and then I'll blow on it, and then I just drag it down until it's connected to the nail, and then I just hold it there. And also making sure the sides are well put on there. Sometimes you might need to go back and put some more glue behind the tip if you think there's going to be an air bubble and that it might cause you problems. So with these really long tips, we're totally going for the Peter Griffin look right now. That's exactly what we just kept talking about as well when we were doing it. She was just like, I feel like Peter Griffin. And then she says she always thinks of me when she thinks of that. So that one needed a little bit more glue just to be reinforced. And yeah, don't forget to check on the sides. And sometimes if I'm like, oh, does this need more glue? It's better to put more glue on, as long as it's not a lot, than to have little, and you know, then there'll definitely be an air bubble. So this finger caused me some problems. She was telling me that her pointer fingers come off all the time first, which is a pretty common thing with nails. It's usually the pointer fingers because they're a more, I don't know if it's weird to say dominant finger, but this nail here, it's so flexible that it really comes away from anything that's on it a lot easier than the rest of the nails. And so after cutting them back, which I'm about to do, it ended up coming off. So I wasn't recording because my camera actually, I'm using my phone. My phone actually, the storage filled up and I didn't know it wasn't recording at first until I kind of wanted to record that so that you could kind of see that sometimes it doesn't always go to plan and that you just kind of have to take off that tip and then put a new one on if something happens like that. But it wasn't recording. And her pointer fingernail was super flexible, and you know, when she told me, I'm like, okay, oh yeah, that's right, I already knew that, because I knew her nails can be sensitive sometimes and flexible, which is a good sign. But then this one is super flexible, like it's a little bit abnormally flexible. So I'm just cutting them down to size, and she's telling me what size that she wants them. It's important to keep communication with the client in the length, and it's best to take a little bit off at a time so that you're not completely going too far down. And then I just gently snip off the sides just to make it a little bit easier when I'm filing the shape. The shape today that she wanted was a rounded almond, and you really want to make sure that you get the shaping right, especially with gel nails. Like, it's, in my opinion, it's okay if you don't have like the 100% shape with acrylic, because that can be easily filed and fixed up. But it's a little trickier with gel, because gel is a lot more delicate, and once it's sandwiched in, it's best to not file too roughly with it, because it is more of a softer product, and you just want to make sure that they're the same size. Just checking with the next finger, still cutting off the sides, because it just doesn't look like much sometimes, and it looks really weird. But just having that little bit extra off, and when that was a bit too long, sometimes that happens, just having that little extra bit cut off really helps with filing, even though it doesn't seem like it's a lot. And I'm also constantly just asking her how she likes the shape and the length. So after doing this, so I'm just checking to make sure it's the same size, same shape and size as the other hand. It's always good to like make sure you're constantly checking that, comparing it until you think it looks good. And so soon my camera cuts out, and then I never got around to being able to record the pointer finger and having to redo that tip. So then after I did the tip and I put it on, I checked the recording, and yeah, so it wasn't great. So then do the thumb, and you also want to make sure that it's all, you're blending the tip into the nail as well, so that it looks like it's the natural nail. And then after that, that's the prep done. No cuticle, tips are on, and then you're ready to dehydrate and prime. Thanks for watching. Bye.